Hey everyone, welcome to Cupboard Creations. My name is Gareth and this is my little corner of the internet for playing with my food. It's been a while since my last video, just before Christmas, so I'm going to ease myself into it a bit this year. We're going to do a starter. It's a really good time for this starter as well. I came up with it for Christmas because we wanted something kind of traditional and nice and easy, but had a little bit of kind of zing to it. So this is a great one. And right now, what with Valentine's Day coming up, it's going to be perfect for this. So we're going to make essentially what you'd call like a prawn cocktail avocado thing. We're going to add some other elements in there. So we're going to make basically a crayfish, prawn and smoked salmon stack. And this is an absolutely gorgeous one. There's so much flavour in those things that it really kind of just really hits you. So we're going to start really quickly by just heading over, getting some of those prawns done, fried up, and the crayfish, and then the rest of it is just a case of assembly. So see you over at the hob. Okay, so I'm using crayfish and prawns here because crayfish has this enormously stronger flavour than prawns, but it is quite expensive. This is a pretty special starter, kind of special meal. So I'm going to mix the two up. So you just get those hits of the real flavour of the crayfish, but you get a bit more of the bulk of that prawns. So we're using essentially 100 grams of these lovely little kind of crayfish tails. And we're going to add to that just 50 grams, about half a dozen frozen prawns. And then all we got to do, get your pan hot, pop in a little bit of olive oil, just a small amount there. And then I'm going to use a little bit of garlic oil as well. So that's just going to add in loads of really cool flavour to it. So about the same, about a tablespoon of each. And then grab your frozen prawns, throw them in and get them all sizzling and cooked through. And I do love frozen prawns for this. I always find sometimes with unfrozen, you kind of get this, they cook too fast. And when you're doing them from frozen, you get that kind of almost slightly more charring on the outside while it's still sort of nicely cooked in the middle. It hasn't gone too hard. So I'm going to stick with these and we just keep tossing them until they're nice and pink, just firm to the touch. Those prawns now, they've got that lovely kind of slightly kind of not charring, but kind of almost caramelization on the outside. Now, because we've got all that flavour in the pan, all that garlic and the bits of the prawn, just going to whack the crayfish in. And these are usually ready to eat anyway, so we can turn that straight off. We don't need it on. And we'll just kind of toss them in there, soak up all of that lovely kind of oils. So they are all lovely, glistening. You can already smell some wonderful flavours. Not that you can smell flavour, you probably can, but you can smell some nice things. Nice aromas, that's the word I was looking for. So they're all done. And I'm really hoping that people get into this crayfish type stuff because they have an incredible flavour, so good. And they're a real pain over here at the moment. The American signal crayfish that's got into the British rivers is absolutely decimating the native populations. So if we can all really get into it, maybe we enjoy it and maybe we can start eating the ones that are in the rivers, which would be nice because I know you can get a license to fish for them. Get little pots, chuck them in the river, talk to your council, and then you can pull them up. And I've seen some people do it, my sister's done it. Huge amounts, enough to just lay them all on a barbecue. Fantastic. And they are really violent buggers. I had one once when I was fishing, stuck on the end of my line, and it was just gripping onto this kind of pellet. I took it about 3 foot off of the water, would not let go. They are really, really violent. So yeah, let's try eating them instead of letting them ruin everything. Okay, so that's it. Got my crayfish and my prawns there, looking great. Just going to pop them to the side. We're going to grab ourselves some of the ingredients that we're going to put in there. So we're going to put some chives in. You only want a couple, so it's going to make probably about 2 teaspoons of chopped chives. So we're just going to chop those nice and small and then pop them in. Okay, so chives in. Now, nice and simple, just like you would a prawn cocktail. Just going to put in a bit of mayonnaise. Probably going to use a tablespoon of mayonnaise. You don't want too much. That'll do that. And then just give that a good stir in. And now you just want probably about a teaspoon, not much, of ketchup. Just adds that lovely kind of seafoody sauce. Shake it first, because otherwise all that comes out is water. But yeah, a little bit, just a little bit in there. You really don't want a lot, because otherwise it just massively overpowers it. So again, give that a nice good stir in. And what you'll notice is you haven't got a huge amount of sauce there. You know, not like your normal stuff you get when you're trying to make those sandwiches and you get those little pots where it's just absolutely entirely mayonnaise with about 3 prawns in it. So that is lovely. So all done there. We can pop that to the side. We're going to do that first because the very last thing you want to do is put it together, and especially when you're using avocados, because they will go brown pretty quick. So you don't want to like make your little avocado base, then go into making all of that, because it just won't work. It won't look as good. So now we can start with the avocado, and you're going to need 2 small avocados for this one. So this one's probably a bit big, but any leftover I'll just whack next to a salad or eat as guacamole. So I'm going to pop those up, and then we're just going to chop them down into quite small chunks and pop them in a little tray that we can mix them about with. Right, so once you've got your little chunks of avocado, just give it a little bit of a season. So we're just going to put a pinch of salt and pepper in, not too much, just a couple of grinds like so. And then we're going to mash it very slightly. So we don't want to make a guacamole out of it. We just want to kind of break a few bits down, because otherwise when you're trying to make a stack of it, there's nothing, again, like you're doing with the mayonnaise with the crayfish and the prawns. It keeps like a glue. You want to get a bit of that avocado to kind of stick together better, and it will do that a lot easier if it's had a little bit of a crush down. Other bonus of that is if your avocado's not perfectly ripe, just kind of makes it a bit easier to eat. That's looking perfect. So we'll just pop that to the side, and we'll go back to our little prawn crayfish thing, because when you're making these videos and you're functioning as your own kind of director, editor, presenter, you forget stuff. And what I wanted to put in here was just a little pinch of paprika. So just your standard stuff, not too much, just enough that a little bit fits between your fingers. And just give that a good stir in. Just adds that extra kind of layer of stuff. You get a slight warmth to it. That'll work really, really well if you remember it. If you don't remember it, like I didn't, don't worry about it. It still tastes great. So that's that bit done. Now, essentially, we're time to plate up. So you want to grab yourself a plate, and for this, you're going to need a ring. So like a kitchen ring, or what could just be a bit of old pipe, really. But these are about 3 inches in diameter. So there we go. You've got everything there that you need. And then we can just start putting it together. So grab yourself a spoon. You can use any size spoon you want. Just make sure you can actually fit it inside your little ring. And then essentially it's a case of grab half the avocado and start popping it in the bottom. Then once you've got it in, give it a little bit of a squeeze down, but don't worry too much. And then you're going to grab yourself a layer of smoked salmon. So you're going to use about 100 grams of smoked salmon for the 2. So about half of it in here. And then just rip bits off and just lay it in. And this is where you can nicely compact all of that avocado, because you can use your fingers, which is a lot easier. So yeah, just tear little chunks off. I'm just going to make a really nice kind of secondary layer. And then once that's done, last but not least, your prawns and crayfish. You're just going to layer these on top. Probably will get a bit messy on this bit. But yeah, half of that in there and you're good to go. There you go. Once you've got a nice even top, just give your plate a little clean up as much as you can. Stupidly, I've gone and used a really kind of shiny plate for this one. So everything shows up pretty badly. But now all we have to do is just kind of take that ring off, and you should have perfectly stacked crayfish, salmon and avocado. Et voila. And there we go, all done. So it's held up, it's looking great. All I'm gonna do is grab a little bit of watercress. Watercress goes really well with this. It's that kind of peppery flavour. Just a little bit like that. So there we go, my lovely crayfish and salmon stack. Absolutely beautiful start to this one for any occasion. So be it Christmas, be it Valentine's Day, you know, if you love someone and you stick this in front of them, they're gonna love you back. Not that they don't anyway, but you know, every little helps. So I'm gonna go give that one to my wife, and I guess I will catch you next time. And if you could consider dropping a like or subscribe to the channel if you're liking what I'm doing, that would be awesome. So I hope you give this one a go. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.